I want to take you back to November of 2015. Justin Trudeau and his cabinet had just been sworn in. Stéphane Dion was the Minister of Foreign Affairs, had just renamed the department that he oversaw Global Affairs Canada, and the new government in this country, less than a month after the election, was tasked with finding the priorities of most significance to Canadians. One of the first orders of business for Minister Dion was actually to remove a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, the Queen of Canada, that's hung in the hallowed halls of the Global Affairs Canada headquarters. Remove that and instead replace it with a couple of crappy Canadian landscapes that had been removed 4 years earlier by his predecessor. Now, when Minister John Baird made the order to remove these and put up a picture of Her Majesty, it was in advance of a trip by Prince William and his wife Kate Middleton. He was doing this because he thought it was more deferential and ultimately more respectful to put up the portrait of Her Majesty. And I remember when Dion made this decision, here's the comment that he made to justify taking down the picture of the Queen. It's entirely appropriate that we take every opportunity to showcase the best of Canadian culture in all our government installations. Well, a month later, missions, these are sub-embassy level operations that the Canadian government has all around the world underneath the Global Affairs banner, were trying to get high-resolution photographs of members of the government's cabinet. Members of the Canadian cabinet, Liberals, essentially, that they wanted photos of in their missions. Now, we have a couple of different documents here where people are actually asking for a high-resolution photo of Minister of Citizenship and Immigration and Refugees, John McCallum. We see that coming from a couple of divisions, not just Canada's operation in Tunisia, but also our mission in Colombia. In fact, on December 16, 2015, Jorge Yanez with Canada's mission in Colombia requested, quote, an official portrait in high resolution from the Minister McCallum, unquote, for their offices. We saw a similar request from Canada's Mexico mission. The Delhi mission in India was also looking for John McCallum. The Mexico mission didn't just want John McCallum, but also wanted a photo of Canada's Minister of Public Safety, Ralph Goodale. Now, the actual ministry policy, the policy that all of these missions have to adhere to, says they need to have a photo of the Queen, the Governor General, the Prime Minister, and the Global Affairs ministers. Now, why do they need the Minister of Citizenship and Immigration? Why do they need the Minister of Public Safety? Why do they need all these other ones? Well, these are people that weren't having conservative ministers and equivalent files put up. This is completely new. In fact, in these emails that we're showing you, they were actually asking for permission from the federal government's HQ in Ottawa to whether they could do this. And the response that they got from the bureaucrat they were asking was, okay, well, you have to go to the ministers and get the photos. So that's precisely what happened. Now, remember what Stéphane Dion said. It's important that we take, or entirely appropriate rather, that we take every opportunity to showcase the best of Canadian culture. Now, I know Minister John McCallum has been around for a while, but I'm not sure if we could show him as the best of Canadian culture when people are going into our offices abroad or overseas. What's so special about this portrait that everyone around the world apparently wants to hang it? The fact of the matter is, these are career bureaucrats, Liberal cronies, Liberal supporters at the very least, that are getting excited about this new post-partisan Liberal government. But when all we hear from the federal government is how, Harper was this iron-fisted tyrant, and then we have portraits of conservative ministers that weren't requested, and now we have Liberal ministers who, even when the policy doesn't require it, are getting their faces hung in halls of government bodies across the country. Seems like this whole post-partisanship that Prime Minister Trudeau's government has promised isn't really panning out, or it only works one way when you're dealing with bureaucrats. For the Rebel.media, I'm Andrew Lawton. If you want more great Fearless content and commentary, make sure to check out the Rebel.media and head on over to the premium section, the best investment you'll ever make, content you can't see anywhere else in the world, only at the Rebel.media.